stars, welcome back to the channel. This is Gwendolyn and I've got another deck review for you. This one is the Vision Quest Tarot, and I got this deck on my birthday this year, so I've been loving it. I've been using it, and I really like the imagery in it. It's got a Native American theme, and it's got sort of a very pastel palette, and I love the imagery in this deck. It's got, for the fire suit, it's fire and arrows. For the earth suit, we see a lot of ears of corn and stones. It's just called earth. For pentacles or coins, and I should say for the fire sign, the rods, it's called fire, and in some decks it's called rods or staves or wands. I'm going to go through each of these, and I'm going to do half of the major arcana, and then the second half of the major arcana I'm going to hold up each card, and then I'll go through the wands, the coins or pentacles, then the swords and the cups, and I'll have timestamps down below so you can see each one. But I'll start here with card 0, which is the clown in this deck. This is corresponding to the Fool card in the Rider-Waite. And then card 1 of the Major Arcana is Medicine Man, and this corresponds to Magician in the Major Arcana. Card 2 of the Major is Medicine Woman. This is equivalent to High Priestess. Card 3 is equivalent to Empress, and here it's depicted as Grandmother. We see her holding a child here. It's a great card of nurturing. I'll also, by the way, have links below for the meanings of each card. I'm just holding up for the visual representation for each of these. This is the Emperor card, and here it's depicted as Grandfather, the Elder, Male Principle. For card 5, this is Shaman, and this is equivalent to Hierophant in the Rider-Waite or other decks. Card 6 is Lovers, and this is it in this deck. Card 7 is equivalent to Chariot, and here it's called Spiritual Warrior. So here, instead of a cart led by 2 sphinxes, we've got a person on a horse. And the other being depicted is in that skull, so that looks like that's another horse. So it's sort of like having the two, the live and the spirit one, depicted. This deck follows the Thoth tradition of 8 being Justice, and card 11 being the Courage card, but sometimes these two, or the Strength card, Strength and Justice can either be 8 or 11 traditionally, and in the Rider-Waite we see Justice depicted as 11, and we see Strength depicted as 8, but here 8 depicts balance, so this is really equivalent to the Justice card in Rider-Waite tradition. So we see a woman with a vessel, an earthen vessel on her head, and it's sort of echoing the scales and balance that we see in Justice. Then for card 9 we have Hermit. Really nice depiction of Hermit here up in the mountains, getting away from it all. Then we have for card 10, which is Wheel of Fortune. Here in this deck it's called Small Medicine Wheel. So those are the first 11 cards of the Vision Quest deck. That's the first half of the Major Arcana. And then the second half is here. This is going to be cards 11 through 22. And I'll hold up each one of them. I think there may be a little bit of a glare. So I will hold up each one so that you can see it a little bit better. and I'll read out what the names are of each one of these as well. So here we have, this is the 11 card, which is in the Rider-Waite. It's equivalent to Justice, but here the 8 and the 11, Justice and Strength, as in the Thoth deck. 11 is depicting strength, and 8 is depicting justice or balance. Here it's called Life Force. So what's normally known as strength is called life force, and instead of a lion we see what looks like a mountain lion depicted. So this is life force, which is also known as strength. Card 11 in this deck of the Major Arcana. Card 12 usually corresponds to Hangman, and here in this deck it's called Vision Quest. So this card usually always has a depiction of someone getting some sort of revelation or enlightenment, and here it's seen as Vision Quest. This is what this deck is named after, so this is a pretty significant card in this deck. Card 13 in this deck is called Transformation, and this is equivalent to the Death card in the Rider-Waite or in other decks. Card 13 of the Major Arcana. Instead of death, we have transformation. Then where we normally have temperance, card 14, this is called integration. I actually really like this card a lot. It's someone weaving a tapestry, and the birds depicted in the tapestry are flying off the tapestry. It's a real card of serenity and balance and creativity. Often temperance represents alchemy, merging two things together that create a new third thing. And here she's weaving the warp and the weft of the tapestry, and it's creating life in the form of these birds, spiritual life. Love this. For card 15, we have Torment, which is, in other decks, it's known as the Devil card. I really like this because it depicts the bondage of the Devil card. But it shows that it's just limitation. It shows that it's someone who is stuck. This is the Devil card, known here as Torment. For card 16, normally this is the Tower card, and here it's called Chaos. We see a wild stallion that's bucking while the storm is raging in the background, and there's lightning hitting, just as we usually see in the Tower card. So Chaos is this card. I would also call it Turbulence. That's the Tower card, or card 16 of the Major Arcana in the Vision Quest deck. Then for 17 we have Star. Beautiful depiction of the Star card. It's a woman with two swans and pouring out that water like we usually see, and the star depicted in the heavens in the background, in the night sky. Then we have Moon, card 18 of the Major Arcana, and it's showing how the moon is affecting the tides. Very nice depiction of the Moon card. Then we also have the Sun card. Card 19, with cactus and hummingbirds blooming. Sun almost looks like a big flower in this deck. Card 20 is equivalent to the Judgment card, and here it's called Spirit Guide. We see some travelers traveling across a plain, and there's a huge vision in the sky. Maybe part cloud, maybe just a dreamscape, spirit vision, spirit guide. It's equivalent to the angel blowing the trumpet in the Rider-Waite. And then card 21 of the Major Arcana, the final card of the Major Arcana, is Big Medicine Wheel. This is equivalent to the World card. And we see this as sort of a higher octave of the number 10 card, the Wheel of Fortune. So the small medicine wheel, and then for this card 21 we have the big medicine wheel. And we see, as usual, the depictions of the 4 fixed signs. Aquarius, as depicted by the person, the eagle, depicting Scorpio, the buffalo here depicting Taurus, and the mountain lion depicting Leo. So all 4 signs of the fixed celestial sphere surrounding the world here. And then we also, there's a lot of depiction in this card. We see the snake, we see the circle of stones. So there's a lot going on in this card. I really love it. Okay, so that is the major arcana of the Vision Quest deck. And then next up will be the Wands or Fire suit. And then Earth, Coins, Pentacles, Swords, and then Cups. So here, I'm going to do the 10 pip cards, or the numbered cards, and then we'll do the court cards of each suit as well. So this will be all the fire signs, also known as wands, also known as rods or staffs. It's known by a lot of things actually, but those are some of the main ones. So Ace of Fire, Ace of Wands, is depicted as an arrow that's ignited in fire here. Often it's depicted as a hand holding a baton, a flowering rod. This here is 2 of Fire, which is in this deck is called Will. 2 of Wands or 2 of Staves, 2 of Rods, depicted as 2 arrows held by a hand. 3 of Wands or 3 of Fire in this deck is known as Integrity. And we see some lavender or some sage, I believe it's lavender, tied together. In this deck it's called Integrity. 3 of Wands, 3 of Fire, 3 of Rods. 4 of Fire or 4 of Wands in this deck is known as Completion. And we have 4 what looks like smudge sticks that are being burned to the 4 corners. This is also a image of purification. Usually smudge sticks will be taken to a home to purify it, and you hit the 4 corners, the 4 directions. So 4 of Fire in this deck is Completion. 4 of Wands. 5 of Wands or 5 of Fire is called Stress in this deck, and we see 5 hands holding torches under a very ominous sky. So that's 5 of Wands, 5 of Fire. 6 of Fire in this deck is 6 arrows in front of what looks like a protea plant. So it's 6 of Fire. In this deck it's called Victory. Then we have 7 of Wands, 7 of Fire. Here in this deck it's called Endurance. Then we have 8 of Fire, 8 of Wands. In this deck called Insight. Looks like it's a sunset or 8 streams of life coming together, streams of light or fire coming together at a point. For 9 of Wands or 9 of Fire, we have Inner Strength. We see 9 bolts of lightning surrounding a rod or a flowering staff. A very typical depiction of the fire element. And then 10 of Wands or 10 of Fire is called Oppression. And we see 10 arrows in formation behind what looks like a deer skull, or antelope, stag perhaps. Then for the court cards, we have Daughter of Fire. This is equivalent to the Page of Wands or the Page of Fire. And she's offering up an offering of fire. In this royal deck, in this royal suit, it's known as daughter, son, mother, and father instead of page, knight, queen, and king. So for the equivalent to the Knight of Fire, we have the Son of Fire. This is equivalent to the Knight of Wands or the Jack of Wands. Then we have the Queen of Fire, which is equivalent to the Queen of Wands, Queen of Fire, Queen of Rods. And we see her tending to a fire here. There's also some echo of the sunflower image in this glyph here on the cave wall. And then for King of Fire, King of Wands, King of Rods, we have the Father of Fire, and he's got a fire brewing right in front of him. Also some sort of images in the sky appearing, getting more visions. So that is the fire element in this deck, and next up will be the earth element. So we've got the Ace of Earth, or it's also known as coins, also known as pentacles. It's representative of the physical or material plane. And these are the 10 pip cards for the Earth, plus the Royal Court, which in this deck is depicted as daughter, son, mother, and father, instead representing page, jack, queen, and king. So Ace of Earth is a beautiful ear of rainbow corn. It's equivalent to the Ace of Coins or Ace of Pentacles. Two of Coins or Two of Pentacles, here called Two of Earth, is called Change. We see a sun and a moon depicted. Changing of the time. Three of Earth is called Growth here. We see 3 seeds that are sprouting beneath the earth and producing 3 plants. Beautiful depiction of Three of Earth. Growth. 4 of Earth, or 4 of Coins, 4 of Pentacles here is called Security. And we see the 4 directions as depicted by stones, a stone circle, called Security here. For 5 of Coins, or 5 of Pentacles, here called 5 of Earth, it's called Insecurity. It's often a card of loss in the material world. We see a raven or crow that's eating away at ears of corn with pieces of corn missing. For 6 of Coins or 6 of Earth, we have breakthrough and sunflowers depicted. There's someone rising out of a basket. Beautiful depiction of 6 of Coins. Non-traditional, I might say. But I love this depiction of 6 of Coins, 6 of Earth. For 7 of Earth, or 7 of Coins, or Pentacles, this is 7 of Earth, and it's called Depletion in this deck. Sometimes 7 of Coins is called Depletion or Loss. I personally look at 7 of Coins more as Patience, or 7 of Earth. I look at it as the farmer card, a card of waiting. Like I usually call it the harvest card. So the time of harvest could be looked at as either the time when you gather things or the time when things begin to die. So it's either way. I personally like the aspect of the harvest, but it can also be looked at as when the life has come to its peak and things begin to wane away. 8 of Coins or 8 of Earth. This is called Inner Order in this deck, and it depicts 8 pumpkins ripe on the vine. Nine of Earth, 9 of Coins, or 9 of Pentacles. Here is called Accumulation. And it depicts lots of different fruits and vegetables above a basket. 10 of coins, 10 of earth, 10 of pentacles. Here it's called wealth. And it shows a whole cornucopia of baskets and fruits. A huge pile of them. So for the court cards for the earth, we have the daughter of earth, which is equivalent to the page of coins or page of pentacles. And she's holding one of the baskets of fruit and vegetables, symbolic of the physical realm. We also have the son of earth. He also is carrying one of these baskets of fruits and vegetables, the rewards of the physical. This is equivalent, the son of earth is equivalent to the knight of coins or knight of pentacles. Then we have the queen of earth. In this case, it's called mother of earth. So this is queen of coins or queen of pentacles. And she's holding a child and surrounded by trees and the corn. Very nurturing card. And then the last card of the earth is we have father of earth, otherwise known as king of earth, king of coins, or king of pentacles. And he has a vessel full of grain that's been harvested. So that's the father of earth, equivalent to king of coins or king of pentacles. So that is the full suit of the earth, or coins or pentacles, in the traditional tarot system. Next up we have the swords cards. And the swords depict, in this deck, they're shown as feathers. But in most standard decks, they're shown as swords. So I actually like this depiction of feathers for this Native American deck. And the swords represent the air element, which is all about thoughts, ideas, knowledge, belief, wisdom. It's all the mental realm. So ace of air or ace of feathers here. This is normally ace of swords. Really nice depiction. Then we have two of swords, which is called two of air here and depicted by two feathers. It's called inner peace in this deck. I think this is such a beautiful card. Two of swords can sometimes be a card of indecision, but I really love it here as peace, inner peace. For three of air, or three of swords, this is called doubt. In many decks, this is depicted as a heart pierced by three swords, and I like it here as three feathers in a storm. Three of air called doubt in this deck. For four of air, we see four feathers above a pool of water that's reflecting the moon, and it's called contemplation in this deck. Next up we have five of air, which in this deck is shown as a crow or raven flying above five feathers, and it's called fear. Also known as five of swords. For six of air, or six of swords, this is called clarity, and it shows a wheel with feathers attached to it. A medicine wheel, I believe. And it's called clarity. I believe those are eagle feathers. Usually a card of healing as well. For seven of swords, or seven of air, this one here is called futility. I really like this depiction. It's a spear with a broken tip. For eight of swords, we have, it's called interference. Eight of air, eight of feathers, and we see a bird that's surrounded by feathers. In many decks, it's a woman surrounded by swords. For the nine of air, this is called hurt, And we see an owl with 9 feathers in front of it on the rock. So 9 of swords, equivalent to 9 of swords, 9 of air. And then for 10 of air, or otherwise known as 10 of swords, this is called negative thinking. And we see vultures depicted. 10 vultures. For page, knight, queen, and king, we have daughter, son, mother, and father. So the daughter of air is equivalent to the page of swords. We see she's got a feather in her hand, and then there's a large bird right behind her. Looks like a hawk. Hawk is traditionally a symbol of the messenger, and pages are often messengers as well. For the knight or the jack, if this is Jack of Swords or Knight of Swords, this is known as the Son of Air. Very fast-moving card, and there's a young man on a horse going very quickly with a spear with feathers attached to it. And then for the Queen of Swords, this is known here in this deck as Mother of Air, and this is a beautiful card. We've got an eagle flying behind her. She's known for speaking the truth, and then there's also a cloud forming into the shape of an eagle behind her. So Queen of Swords or Mother of Air in this deck. And then for the King of Swords, also known here as the Father of Air, he's on a horse with a shield and holding up the javelin or the spear with the feathers attached to it, representing the swords element in this deck. So King of Swords, Father of Air. So that is the air element as represented by swords, and in this deck it's called air but represented by feathers. And then the final element is the water element, which is also represented by cups. We see in this deck it's vessels, usually earthen vessels. And cups represent the heart or emotion. And similarly in the water element we've got for the court cards, we have daughter, son, mother, and father standing in the place of page, knight, queen, and king. So the first here is Ace of Cups, or Ace of Water. We see an earthen vessel that's overflowing with water. Very common image for the Ace of Cups. Then we have the Two of Water, or Two of Cups, here called Love. Then for Three of Water, or Three of Cups, it's called Fullness. And 3 vessels are being filled by the same waterfall. For Four of Cups, it's called Abundance, or Four of Water. And then Five of Cups, or Five of Water, is called Loss. For Six of Water, or Six of Cups, in this deck it's called Pleasure. You see 6 vessels being filled by a waterfall and flowers blooming with each of them. For the Seven of Cups, or Seven of Water, it's called Excess. And there's 2 vessels that are intact, and then there's 5 that are broken. So the excess water is leaving them. For Eight of Cups, or Eight of Water, this one's called Stagnation. Often this depicts someone who is leaving behind 8 cups. So there's a certain amount of stagnation that's happening. and they're moving on to the next cycle. For 9 of Cups, or 9 of Water, this one's called Joy. Love this. Someone's sitting by a waterfall with 9 vessels full. It echoes back to this Ace of Cups image. My cup runneth over. Lots of joy. And 10 of Cups, we see multiple waterfalls. 10 waterfalls. This in 10 of Water here is called fulfillment. Can't even be contained. It's beautiful. Emotional fulfillment. And we also see the rainbow that is symbolized in many depictions of the 10 of Cups. And then for the final court, again, we have daughter, son, queen, mother and father. For page, knight, queen, and king. So we have the Daughter of Water, equivalent to the Page of Cups. I really like this image. Messenger of the Heart. And then we have the Son of Water, equivalent to the Knight of Cups. We have the Mother of Water, which is equivalent to the Queen of Cups. And then finally we have the King, or rather the Father of Water, which is equivalent to the King of Cups. So that's the deck for the Vision Quest tarot deck. Again, Native American symbolism and images. Really love this deck. And here is the back of this deck. It's got a beautiful night sky with a bird flying in it. Looks like it could be a hawk. I would probably guess that it would be, but I really love the back of this deck as well as the pastel imagery that we see in the front sides. So that is the Vision Quest deck. Really been enjoying that. Hope you love it like I do. And thanks for tuning in. As always, yours in the stars. Bye-bye.